All right, we are back in the saddle again. We've got an exciting video for you today that involves being paid in BTC on autopilot and a one-time payment of like 60 bucks, right? So I've jumped in and I'm going to demonstrate for you guys today the process, and we'll talk about what's going on with this smart contract dApp, right? Decentralized application that is it's on Binance BSC, right? It's on Binance Smart Chain's blockchain, and it's picking up steam. It's picking up steam. So let's get right on into it and talk all about it. So welcome to the show. Gather around, ladies and gents, boys and girls, crypto freaks, money-making maniacs, all my DGen brothers and sisters, no matter your class, color, or creed, from Afghanistan all the way on down to Zimbabwe. So let's get into these crypto streets once again and talk about this platform today, right? But before we do, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out here on the chart for BTC and just kind of think about the process of time, and how Bitcoin, when it launched really back in 2010, essentially, I think maybe late 2009, maybe it was December of 2009. But at any rate, we've got the chart here that goes back as far as 2013, right? I don't think they have records before 2013. At least they don't have it here on CoinGecko, right? But we can see this process that has gone on and on and on and on with BTC, right? It has peaked. People thought, oh my God, it's crazy. Look how high it is. And then it fell back, right? Because for example, here, I think it surged up to about $10,000, $15,000, whatever it's showing. I think it actually went up to $20,000 in 2017, right? So anyhow, though, it dropped, it sold off, people took profits, and so on and so forth, right? A lot of people like myself, got involved, and I guess, started buying crypto and having crypto myself at that time. And went through the process of watching it all just fall back to prices that were way low, right? Back to what it was, what is this, $3,000. And then we had COVID and all that, and it dropped back even more, right? So, and then it pumped again. We watch and we witness the glory of Bitcoin and what it does, right? It continues no matter the news cycle or whatever the FUD is, right? Bitcoin is doing its thing, and bringing all of the other cryptos up with it, right? The tide that rises and raises all ships. Now, once again, as you can see, it has dipped off, right? Sell off. Market was horrible, middle of COVID, and so on and so forth. And then we had another explosive resurgence out of, from 2023 on, things just really started picking up. So on and on. This is another example, as people have stated, time and time again, many other people have pointed out that if you zoom out, the chart clearly is going up, right? And you can see the ebb and flow of Bitcoin. Now, why today's video is exciting for me is because, this is a throwback to matrix systems when they first, when smart contracts first launched. And this is about 2017-ish, right? After the ICOs, smart contracts were all the rage. You had proof of weak hands. A lot of the people that were at least in crypto were hearing about smart contracts and how they worked, and a lot of people who had crypto got involved, right? A lot of money was made, a lot of money was lost, a lot of money was stolen, and so on and so forth. Smart contracts are not perfect, but they do bring a bit of decentralization, and of course with the automation of smart contracts, you can pretty much count on the contract working as designed, right? Now the problem is, when contracts come out, oftentimes they're even if they are vetted, the math may eventually collapse, or other problems occur, or they might just outright be exploited by the contract creators or whatever it could be. But there is more confidence in a smart contract than a centralized platform, right? Like a closed source platform. Now, this platform, Bitcoin Wealth is what they're calling it, it's not a company, right? It lives on Binance Smart Chain's blockchain, right? So anyways, I just want to illustrate that. First off, again, you're looking at these transactions here that are effectively BTCB, because it's BTC on Binance, but it's a one-to-one with Bitcoin, right? That's how it goes, right? So if Bitcoin is valued at $62,000 right now, currently at the making of this video, obviously getting it now while the price is down from all-time highs of like $125,000 as it was last year, then now's a good time to be collecting Bitcoin on autopilot, right? Now, there's no guarantees, right? Again, this matrix, we are going to experiment. My apologies, we got some activities going on outside, so pay no mind to the disruptions outside. But at any rate, we'll try to keep the video going. So when it comes to these smart contracts, there's a bit more confidence in the fact that you can watch the transactions, each and every one of them being paid out to the various wallets. So people are being paid in their various forms on this smart contract, right? Let me actually come back. I was looking at a particular wallet, I think, for this one. So, these are payments, right? 0.008 Bitcoin. That's like $500 worth of Bitcoin. 0.001. This is that's a payment coming into the contract of the $60. So for people who register, all right, if you see a payment going out to this wallet right here, that's a payment that's going out to a person. So this platform, it's working, right? The smart contract is doing what it is designed to do, which is great to see. Now, if we look at they've got a white paper here that, explains what this is and so on and so forth. But simply put, this thing is positioning you once your one-time payment, because that's all that it takes to get paid out in this thing, right? Now, to be fair, they do have a dead weight qualifier, right? Because you have people obviously that are going to join the platform and, just expect spillover from left, right, up, down, and center. And a platform isn't going to grow if people aren't at least trying to make one other person or two other people aware of it, right? Now, in the event that you want to join this and only be paid out from spillover, then, this platform, it may not be for you, right? But again, you don't, in particular, recruiting, however you would want to think of it, it isn't necessarily that, right? If you're talking about this platform and showing, again, the fact that, like, as I've just shown, that the system works, but ultimately you yourself need to make a sacrifice of $60, right? That's like a meal at Applebee's, or, you know what I mean? Or it's gonna cost you probably even more than that, even at Applebee's, right? These days, the prices that people have to pay. So $60 ain't nothing, as far as when it comes to an investment in yourself. So there's that, right? Now, with regard to being able to qualify for spillover, because the spillovers, it does come. You do qualify once you have positioned yourself, but effectively your slots, your position 1 and 2 do need to be filled, right? And from beyond that, spillover occurs, right? So I just want to get that out of the way and make sure that there aren't any misunderstandings about that. But effectively, having people come in under you in your first and second position qualifies you for the spillover that people, if you could say you just want to sit back and let it ride, But if you actually want to build and do even more, then you're going to grow faster than other people who are just waiting for spillover, right? And again, you're earning BTC. So that's why, this is exciting, because again, it's on autopilot. BTC's down right now. The price of Bitcoin is definitely going to come back up, as you've already seen on the chart. And I want to get a piece of it, right? Now, I don't want to go through and explain everything that's happening here in their PDF, that they have available. But effectively, you cycle through these positions really in an unlimited way. And especially now as it grows, we're, I think, 100 days into this being active, right? So it had to come out of the gate for the first month, see if it was, as I said, people testing out the mechanics of the platform to see if it actually does what it's supposed to do. And it is, right? Now, this thing is growing in a lot of Asian and African regions right now. So, I'm actually on a Zoom call here. Let me make this a little wider, take off these other videos. And just to show, I'm making it full screen here for you. But just to show, this was a Zoom where I think it started, the host. Now they're actually, you might not see too much activity. This is on YouTube, this Zoom, they posted it, but most of the growth is happening on WhatsApp, right? On messaging apps like WhatsApp and Messenger, because those are pretty big for networking in countries like, in Asian countries and African countries. So, you've got a lot of growth happening with regard to, you may not see it on YouTube that much yet, but it's only just over 2 months out of the gate, right? Or 3 months now out of the gate. And those first 2 months really are the tests, right? To see if it's going to then begin to have kind of mass adoption, all right, or critical mass growth. But let me play a little bit of the Zoom, and you can hear from one of the leaders in Asia where he talks about the smart contract and, the transactions and so on, like I just showed.
Okay, brothers and sisters, this is how it looks like here. Let me get this item away. Yes, okay, fine. Okay, this is how transactions are registered. 1 minute ago, someone came in and someone received. See, the entry is 0.001. The recipient also received 0.001. For tonight's current price, the value 0.001 is around 63.89. 63.89.
Well, and so again, actually, he's just going through and making the points that I did, right? Just showing that the smart contract is functioning as advertised, shall we say. Okay, so with that, let me bring up the platform itself, all right? And in fact, I am going to do a registration live so you can see the process, right? Because I've actually gone ahead to fill my own first 2 positions to qualify, because I've already missed spillover, right? Shout out to my upline, Jamie. Yeah, he got in this thing. I saw a couple videos that he did. I was like, you know what? I love a good cycler, right? A good matrix like Forsage. I mean, back in the day, Forsage was dynamite. I mean, that went for over a year before the math began to kind of fall apart and things kind of got a little fuzzy. There were some problems with Ethereum because the gas was getting too high and people, were really having a lot of problems. So that's why it really began to fall apart, because of the high transaction fees, not because of Forsage as a system. It actually was explosive for so many people. It was so explosive. It's just unfortunate that they tried to rebrand onto Tron and things kind of derailed because people just weren't weren't able to make the transition over to Tron as easily and so forth. But a lot of people now have started picking up Web3 and using smart contracts and understanding how to navigate. And there's just a lot more people now on chain, right, than there were back in 2019, 2020. Forsage was, again, huge. It's still on chain, right? But again, gas prices got too high on Ethereum. I mean, you guys, if you look back and do a little research, you'll see gas prices for Ethereum got to be outrageous and, destroyed a lot of systems and programs and platforms and companies and so forth that used Ethereum exclusively. So, but I'm going to make this registration. This will actually be my third registration, and it will be the second position. I'm filling the second position because, as I said, I've already missed spillover from above and below because I didn't qualify for it when I looked at the smart contract and I saw where my first registration was. And I saw that, there was some missed activity. I think it's called missed income. So we don't want to miss any income because there's money coming all over from up, down, left, right, and center. And again, to make sure that I qualify, instead of waiting to get those first two positions filled, because I potentially can get my money paid back to me. No guarantees as to how quick or how soon, but it will then activate the spillover in the system. So in doing this, we're knocking out, two birds with one stone here, showing you guys the demonstration. So I'm using Web3 Rabby, my Rabby wallet. And so we'll connect this third wallet. The registration is under 15484 an ID. So let's go ahead and confirm as this comes up here ever so slowly. We got too much going on in the background, but that's all right. Patience is king. Patience is key and king. So connection, now we're going to go ahead and make the payment. Or did that actually already make the payment? No. Let's go ahead. Now so that was just for me to connect the wallet. Now we're proceeding with the actual payment. Again, this is on BSC, and my transaction ID and all of that, of course, will generate for this particular wallet. And so this is now also qualifying my original registration to receive spillover. All right. So one more confirmation. Sorry, I guess that was just to confirm the transaction. And now we'll sign and make this. Yeah. So here's the 62 in BTC. So again, 0.001. It could be more, it could be less in US dollar amount when you see this video, but it's still going to be 0.001 as a one-time payment, right? Now you can choose to do what I'm doing and pay your first two levels, so you can go ahead and activate the spillover. But again, you can hold position one, and again, mention it to a few other people, right? Sit back and observe. You've got your position locked in, right? Just getting in and getting your position locked in is important for number one. You can wait a day, wait a couple days. I've waited already after my first registration. I've waited, well, it's basically been 24 hours. I registered yesterday, the day before yesterday, I'm sorry. And so now I'm just getting this video out here on, in the afternoon here, West Coast time. West Coast Mexico time. All right, so when this, and it takes a little bit of time, you can see that it's taking time to register. Don't let that startle you. All right, you just wait. I've already gone through this twice, and it takes a little bit, even though the payment has already come out of my wallet, but it's confirming on the blockchain. And so it says this wallet is already registered on the matrix. So I'm in. So I'm going to refresh the page. In the second attempt, it just took me straight to the site, but by refreshing the page, it should bring me over. Let's see what's going on here. Where's the sign? Oh, let's go to sign in. That's where we want to be. So we sign in, it's showing the ID. And we'll get that to bring up the dashboard. And so as you can see, we are in now what position or the number. This is, so again, as I said, there's 16,115 as I just came in with that registration. And there's obviously someone coming in behind me, someone coming in after that person, another person coming in after that other person. And so the blockchain is busy. So much so that let me come over to the blockchain here and I will go, let's click on the contract itself. This is the contract. Actually, let me go back. Come back, and this is the contract here. Let's go to the first page. So it's got 200 pages of transactions like that. Well, displays 50 entries or 50 separate transactions. So there was, maybe was that my payment? No. Here's mine right here 2 minutes ago. So there's been 1, 2, 3 people that have registered just after I have. Okay, so you see how that works. Yeah, the payment went in, bada boom, bada bing. The contract, I think this is the contract paying out from my 0.001 to this wallet address here. Let's click onto that wallet address and see what, if we can here, what transactions they have received. So they just received that 0.001. So you can see here where the transactions are coming in. So everywhere where we see BTCB, 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 those are transactions taking place for them. So it looks like they're a fairly new person because I don't seem to see any other. So they joined, well, I'm not quite sure when they joined here. But ultimately, again, you can see that they are in the loop now in terms of their payments, right? So they had a 0.01 and the contract does all this stuff automatically. So it's not like it takes it out of your wallet. What's in your wallet stays in your wallet. But everything, when a payment that should go to you fills a certain spot, that will then be transferred to an upline per se for spillover, or to a downline, a qualifying downline per se, then the contract's going to do that on autopilot. It's not going to come out of your wallet, but your receiving payments do come directly to your wallet, right? So pretty exciting. I'm happy to see, again, as I said, a solid matrix that pays out in Bitcoin, because we were paid out in Ethereum for Forsage. And, you know, again, it was great. A lot of people still walked away, myself included, with a whole lot more Ethereum than I started with, right? And yeah, so platforms like this, again, as I said, growing in Asia and in African regions, you know, it is wonderful, because when Africa and Asia come together, they make things happen, right? For sure, communities start to talk, and those are some of the best communities for this to get started in. So yeah, I'm excited. All right, so BTC Wealth, or Bitcoin Wealth, as you saw, I just showed you the process. In fact, I'm going to go back to my original wallet and show you, so in full disclosure, you can see where I'm doing this, as I said, to go ahead and knock out those. Let me disconnect this wallet. We're going to go to this first wallet here, and then we're going to connect. Let me log out from this particular account. I need to reconnect to sign in under this account. And then there you go. The process is going to be whatever it is for you, right? But as I said, I want to go ahead and because I've already missed spillover. I've already missed payments that I could have received had I done all of this to begin with. But I did want to kind of sit back and see how things go, right? After my first registration. And then, yeah, let me sign in here. See how the system works. I wanted to do a little extra research. And again, I did confirm that for spillover, you do need to get spot 1 and 2 filled. And then the rest of your other positions either put you into a paying position or it takes you to slot 2, which pays out double what slot 1 does. All right, so again, signing in, getting through. And so boom, as you can see, so I've got 2 partners, right? Those 2 partners are me signing up and filling slots 1 and 2 under myself, right? Now I can give out the referral link for that, but at this point, just filling out the rest of my matrix here, right? Spot 1 and 2 have been filled, right? So the next payment that would come in, I would get paid on. All right, so that's actually the second, what they call the subsequent cycle, the second cycle. But anyways, though, so again, 1 and 2 are filled. 3 is a payment. 4 is going to be the part 1 of 2 positions that it will take me into the next tier of slot 2, right? So again, boom, then I would start receiving payments and qualify for spillover at the level 2. And 6th payment is mine. Again, my downline would then receive a payment for the next person that comes in. That's again for those who qualify, right? So again, this is where the dead weight comes in, because if someone just comes on and they're like, I'm just going to sit back and wait for, my upline to do all the work and give me the spillover, you got to at least qualify, okay? And so with that, it's great to get in position. The sooner the better, obviously, too. Even if you only pay for yourself now and you just, like I said, sit back and observe and watch it, so be it. Yeah, these are how the cycles go. I'm kind of scrolling through. This is, can I take this off here? No, I'm doing the wrong thing. Let me make it small. I can't get this thing off to the side. But just to show how the slots work, right? Slot 1, we're getting payouts of 0.001. And slot 2, our payouts are 0.002. At slot 3, 0.004. And so on and so forth accordingly, all the way up to slot 12, which the payouts for that are 2 Bitcoin coming that the system does on its own, automated, as you already saw, right? We already saw payments of 0.008. I saw, as I looked through some of the other transactions, some people are already receiving 0.016 BTC. So this is already happening and it's picking up momentum fast. So I want to be in it, and I am in, right? As you can see. So I'm in a position now to receive spillover. And now even for my own positions after that, they will pay out in the corresponding pay positions, right? You're paid out on position 3, 6, 8, 9, 11, and 12, right? And then boom, you recycle through to the next subsequent distribution, and you can see how it pays out. Okay, and again, all qualified at this stage for sure to receive spillover. I'm not quite sure what the royal pool is. That might be a royal pool of missed income that gets distributed to people who qualify for the royal pool. But it looks like if you're in position 4 on the second cycle that you would qualify for that payout. I'm not exactly sure what it ends up being, but interesting. And again, it's working. All this stuff, all this stuff is happening on chain. You can verify that all the transactions are live and active up to this minute. Okay. So again, yeah, just 1 minute ago even. So very, very exciting. As I said, I've made a long video here, but I wanted to get all of it out and try and bring into focus what my logic and my strategy for this is, and to take advantage. right? Again, on BTC right now, before it takes off again, which we can see the cycles as we already did are pretty consistent, right? So again, to be accumulating BTC at at 62,000 before it goes to 130,000, 40,000, 50,000. I want to be in a position where I'm earning at those levels and earning at the higher levels as it goes up. Let's say this contract stays on track and grows as much as it has been and continues. I don't know why the chart's not coming up. Slow internet. Anyways, got too many things happening. But with all that said, it doesn't matter. You guys have seen it for yourself here, the transactions and how it works. I'll keep you guys posted. I am, of course, going to share out my link here for people that want to hop into my team. And it's going to be I'm surrounded by people who are quite active and builders as well, right? But you would have to qualify to receive spillover once again, as I just demonstrated. So you don't have to do that, all right? But if you do decide to do that, that's about $180 currently, 60 times 3. If you do decide that you just want to fill up your own positions on your own instantly and not wait to recruit, you can do that. But I'll be, of course, getting my link out and spreading the word about my experience with this, right? In terms of payments that I'm receiving, I'll document that and post it on my Telegram and so forth. So in the meantime, that's it. All right. So I'll catch all you guys on the next video pretty soon. Peace.